This is 24. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. 4 more. So, I got some Gravity Rush 2 gameplay for you. This is gonna be like my full review of it. It won't necessarily be as edited as really the Batman Telltale series review was. This is gonna be something unedited because I've been having some problems with the game, like some good problems, but some bad problems. But I just to show you, how far I've gotten into the game. I'm about 19 hours in, 57% through. The story, that doesn't include, by the way, the side quest missions that I have avoided like the Black Plague. But I have gotten a ways through the game. But one of the best things starting off the bat with the game is that the map is way better than in the last game. I don't know what the map was in the last game, but this map seems a lot more organized because it's a lot better because you can see the numerous amount of side quest missions that you have to undertake, as well as story missions. There's some very interesting side quest missions and very interesting story missions as well. But one thing that I did like right off the bat, besides the map, was the gravity powers that you do have in the game. And luckily, they've streamlined the experience to such a way that Kat is now able to access her full-on gravity powers at the start of the game. She's able to access her mobility. I don't know what the fuck she's doing right now, but she's able to access her mobility straight out the gate instead of it being like, halfway through the game that you're actually able to use her mobility in such an efficient and effective way. Because what determines how much gravity power I have, or how long I can stay in the air, I shouldn't say gravity power, is the little blue circle in the top left of the screen. That determines how much gravity power, or how long I can stay in the air, and what I can do in the air. And in the last game, you had to constantly upgrade it. The bar was expunged a lot quicker, as well as you couldn't do as much in the game. And the only way to upgrade this bar is by these little red crystals in the game. And you'll see different variations of them. Sometimes they'll be cubes. Most of the time they'll be those little tiny crystals. And there's thousands of them in the game. And they're all throughout the map. And this is one of the more annoying tendencies of Gravity Rush 2. There's no other way to actually get the crystals by actually finding them. And you'll find them in some very predictable locations, like at the bottom of these structures, because they're floating and you can go underneath them. There's going to be, a shit ton of these crystals at the bottom of these structures. But the only way to upgrade Kat's abilities is by getting these crystals. And that's terrible, because the side quest missions will rarely give you any crystals. And they may give you 100 or so crystals. And this is the problem in the game, by the way. This is one of the first problems, is that the actual power-ups for the game, like the gravity kick, if I go to that, I have it upgraded to about 60%. As you can see, the maximum amount you can get it is 16,000 crystals. That's ludicrous. That is ridiculous on so many levels. I cannot believe they did that in the game, because it will take you so damn long to get those damn crystals. And one way that you can get those damn crystals is by undertaking side quest missions that, if I can find one, not transportation, where's one? I don't think they have it on this specific map, because why would I want to take a train when I can fly? I'm gonna try and find it, but I'm pretty sure I don't think they have it. Okay, so they don't have it. But in the game, there are these sites where you can actually mine these crystals. But it's like, okay, how many crystals do you get? You get about 10 crystals per little green orb that you get, or green sphere that's in these mining sites that you can mine the ruby crystals for. And even that is a long and tedious time. or time frame. And it's like, you know, we liked in Gravity Rush, it was so cool to have to explore this region and have to get all of these damn crystals, but at the same time I didn't want to spend hours upon hours getting these damn, like, look at how many damn crystals there are in this game. You would not, I probably spent maybe an hour to 2 hours, maybe even 3 hours getting these damn crystals just to upgrade Cat. It's ludicrous how many crystals there are in this game. So I'm gonna do a story mission so that way I'm not, you know, doing anything. By the way, there will be dialogue, and the dialogue in this game is, there are some cutscenes, but most of the time the game's story, excuse me, is told in comic book format. Like there's gonna be, you know, these, you'll see what I mean. You'll understand in a second. That's what I mean. There's really not a lot of cutscenes in the game. The format of the game's story is mostly going to be told like this, and I think that it's a lot more interesting. Oh. Right. And this is the start of a new episode. This is gonna be episode 18, Two Angels. Before it. Okay. So I don't know what this mission is, but one thing that you'll notice in the game, and this is something that they haven't really done. This is something that they have done in the first game, and they've continued to do in the second game, and that is have all of the characters speak this very weird language. It's not Japanese, it's not French. I think it's a combination of both French and Japanese, and it sounds so weird, but it's like, it's annoying. I kind of wish that they were just speaking English or Japanese or a language that I could actually, you know, understand. But I thought it was, in all honesty, I thought it was because they didn't get enough funding for the game, so they had to just go with, you know, French or Japanese voice actors. But, you know, no, they did this on purpose, and they did this across, what the fuck is going on here? But they did this across the entirety of the game, and there's Raven. So Raven is another gravity user that you do meet in the first game that is kind of important for the story. I won't spoil. She does have her own story, and in all honesty, I don't know that much about Raven, to be honest with you. I just know where she kind of comes from. I also know parts of her story. But this is actually a really good time to show you pretty much just basic combat in the game. Now, there are 3 different styles of fighting that Cat can use. And this is why having that gravity bar that I was talking about refill and be expunged very slowly so important, because right now I'm using a lot of gravity or a lot of the bar just to fight, and I'm not, what the fuck is going on? I'm not killing anything right now. What is, okay, so, but you need the gravity bar to not be expunged so quickly, or else these missions are going to be very, very hard. And I did like how they started off with the game with you having a full upgraded gravity bar, and I'm just not doing very good. So one of the powers that you have, or there are 3 styles of powers that you have. You have the normal gravity power, you have the lunar power, and then you have the Jupiter power, which I'm using right now. Now, what the fuck? Okay. Oh wow, I just killed all of the officers. I didn't know I should have been protecting him. But you have 3 different styles. The Jupiter one is the heaviest one. So if so it's technically the strongest one. because cat's heaviest in this form, and it pretty much makes you slower, but it also makes all of your attacks stronger because you weigh more and you deal more damage because of that. The lunar style, which is the blue one, it makes you lighter and faster, but it doesn't necessarily make your attacks weaker. It makes you less accurate. And then you have the normal gravity power that's in the main game and in that's in Gravity Rush 2 and Gravity Rush Run. But really, I find that both the lunar style and the regular style, the one that I'm using right now, to be probably the best because they don't suck as much. Like, hang on, let me use my ult here. It didn't do anything. Wow. Okay. So it didn't do anything. That's fantastic. But the reason why I think that oh shit, he's dead. Oh wait. Okay. But the ooh, Callie finally. I get to kick her ass. But the gravity power that I think that is just the worst one and that they just need to fucking fix is the Jupiter one. The Jupiter power is probably the worst one because of the simplicity of the fact that it is the buggiest. I feel like the way that it works is not correct. That's how I feel. And oh my god, just piss off. I hate you so much. Da 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 da. Okay, let's just kick her ass now. But where the fuck did she go? Okay. But the Jupiter style is one of the worst ones because it's just glitchy and it's slow. And in a game where you need to be fast and your camera just does weird things, right? Like the camera will sometimes be upside down and you have to recenter it. Other times you constantly need to what the oh fuck. Other times you need to constantly readjust the camera, and characters sometimes move very fast, so it's hard to do that. But there are a lot of problems with the camera that I didn't really like, that are in the first game. But in the second game, it's like in the first game, excuse me, they were perfectly fine because you couldn't move as fast. The enemies, they weren't as lethal, they weren't as quick. But in this game, it's the exact opposite. The enemies are faster, they're stronger, they're more powerful, they deal more damage. They're a lot more unique. Instead of fighting the same 5 to 6 monsters for the entirety of the game, you fight, a whole variety of different enemies. And at first it seems like it's the exact opposite, that you fight maybe 5 to 6. Okay. I kind of knew that CC was Callie's sister. But in the first game, it's like you maybe fight a couple of different enemies. Now it's that you fight, now it's that you fight a whole host of different enemies that really take some time and energy to figure out how to beat. And I do like that. It's just that the fucking camera is so difficult to work sometimes. And it doesn't recenter naturally. You have to constantly recenter the camera. Like, for instance, if I do this when I'm flying, the camera can sometimes go to this. And to recenter it, like, it's just so awkward and so weird. And on top of that, it's super slow. So you have to constantly readjust your camera while you're fighting. And it's just, it feels so unnatural. So often. But it's one of the things that's in the game that just sucks, to be honest with you. Okay, so we're about to whoop her ass again. Like, she's super easy. Bosses, by the way, are not hard. If you lose to boss, plus I have the difficulty on easy because I found that my playthrough was was taking way too long. See what I mean? But, oh, okay. But the camera is very clunky. The gameplay can be very fun, but it can also be very frustrating. And this moment means nothing to you as the viewer, because you don't know what the hell's going on. You don't know why she's turning into a crystal. Hell, I barely know why she's turning into a crystal. It's very weird to me. I barely know what's going on. Oh my god, now I have to fight both of them. Fantastic. But you'll kind of get it. Oh my god. But right now, I won't recenter the camera. I won't recenter it. And I'll tell you when I'll recenter the camera. Because really, the camera is a bitch to work with. But in these style of fights, where you have bosses like these bosses are actually going to be hard for me to beat. I'm kind of thankful that they're a lot, that it's, that these two bosses, like, god damn this camera. This is what I mean, by the way. But these style of bosses, where you're trying to fight duos, are very terrible if you don't have, like, a partner with you, like if you don't have Raven fighting with you. And I do like that she is introduced in the game kind of early on, and that she is in the game during some of these fights, because these fights would be a bitch to try and combat, because... God, piss off, Callie. This bitch just threw me! But it would be... What the... Get the fuck off me. But it would be very difficult for me to have to fight both of these two on my own. And it kind of brings some type of camaraderie with you and Kat, that you are fighting, you know, that you are fighting side by side and you are fighting these two different characters. But you rarely see the duel, like you actually fighting with Raven appropriately. Like she doesn't necessarily do things that you want to do. And if you look at both of their health bars, we're both not really doing a lot of damage to either one of them. Like, it's not... hang on. Like, it's pretty hard for both of us to combat both of them. But the coolest thing about the game is that you have this ultimate ability for all three gravity styles. One for the regular, one for Jupiter, one for lunar. And Raven can actually somewhat respond... Oh my god, get out of the power, Jesus Christ. And Raven can somewhat respond to all of them. She can somewhat respond, sometimes it glitches out, but... Oh my god. But on top of that, there's really one that she responds best to, and that's the normal style, where... Oh my... I just used it and it didn't work because she hit me. Fucking hell. I'm not gonna lie to you, I have no idea how to beat these two. It's gonna be really difficult. But... Unfortunately, they canceled my... I'm gonna take care of Callie first because she's annoying. But the actual, like, the actual way that you can use... What? I didn't know. What is going on right now? I'm definitely gonna die, by the way. But... Oh my god, just piss off. You know, I'm probably gonna die here anyways. And I have it on easy, by the way, and I'm getting my ass handed to me. And I'm no scrub at this game. Oh my god. Whew, how am I gonna do this? But the interesting thing about the game, when it comes to combat, is that there's not a lot of depth to it, so it makes the combat easy to learn, easy to master. So if you don't like that style of combat, you probably won't like this game, because I will say this, the gameplay is very easy. The story, by the way... Okay, finally. Okay. Attack Deregababa 2-5 CC. So I guess I was doing it wrong. I should have fought CC or the Angel, but it doesn't fucking matter because fucking Callie keeps on getting in my damn way. But the interesting thing about the gameplay is that there's not a lot here. It's literally me holding square and pressing R1 a lot. Like, that's the combat. The story is what's going to either draw you to the game or repel you. It's kind of like the Batman series, Batman a Telltale series, but the gameplay is a lot more in-depth, and it is a lot better. It's... Oh my god, what do they want? Okay. Wow, this was a really easy boss battle. I just made it really difficult for myself. But the combat is me just holding square a lot and pressing R1 to reposition myself. That's the combat. The story is what's going to help you. It's going to either repel you or draw you. I'm sorry for repeating myself, but I'm just getting super distracted by what's going on right now. And what I mean by repel or draw you is that the story is so fucking weird, right? Like, you don't know what's going on. And if you do know what's going on, you've played this game before. So, I want to throw my controller at the screen because I hate both of these characters so damn much. But the story is super weird. If you haven't played the first game, you won't understand what's going on whatsoever. I kind of understand. I know what's going on because I've played the game, but I don't know why she turned into an angel, or why we just got our asses handed to us. Like, this is almost as good as it's going to get. And I just lost, pretty much. But I think one of the best things about the game is the weirdness of the story. Like, it's interestingly intriguing, but at the same time, stupid in some ways. Just stupid in other ways. What I mean by interestingly intriguing, like, just look at the screen. Like, we're in a cavern surrounded by glass, and the first thing that came to mind was collecting those damn crystals again. That's what I mean by intriguing. But it's just sometimes, and this isn't really like a knock on the main story, it's a knock on the side quest missions. It's like, Kat just goes out of her way to help random strangers. And that's not necessarily the story being stupid, more along the lines of Kat being just a really good person. But I mean, and on top of that, hang on, there are these hands just in the air. Why are hands in the air? Like, there's just a million questions that I don't ask because I could go on and on and on and on and on about making, about just making obvious observations. But I think that's one of the game's strengths, just weirdness. But if you haven't played the first story, you're going to hate this game because you don't know what's going on. But I feel like if you can just go along with the game, you'll have a lot of fun with it. You'll have a lot of very good times with it. And it is a very story-driven game. Even though that, and this is the little spears that you mine the crystals for, even though the game does have some very large problems, like with the camera, you could definitely tell that it was very annoying. Like, the camera sometimes switches from this stance to pretty much this, where you're upside down. And you can't necessarily recenter it without actually pressing R1. And the problem with the camera is that when you're fighting these very fast and fluid enemies, it just glitches out, and sometimes it just does not work. They need to work on that, because they are going to make a third game for this series. It is going to be a franchise. I do like this game, but I feel like the camera is something that they need to work on. The 3 different gravity powers in Lunar, I thought that one of the best things about the Lunar style would be this dash that you could use to get around the city a lot more faster, but that's not necessarily the case. You could only use it in very short distances, and that's disappointing because I wanted it to be longer. And obviously the Jupiter style is just bad. But I think that if they are going to create a third game, there's a lot of potential here to make that third game a great game. There's a lot of potential to make that third game an even better second game. They just need to do a lot more. They need to introduce some fantastic way of making the story from the first game, or implementing parts of the story from the first game into the second game and the third game, so that way we'll actually know what's going on. Because there are some things like it was 2012 2013 when I played Gravity Rush, the first game. It's been 4 years, and even I'm like somewhat getting along decently. So this is coming from a guy that played the first game and the DLC. So and I'm even having a little bit of difficulty trying to follow the story along. But the story is interesting in and of itself. I just think the gameplay needs to improve. The story needs to be a lot more clearer, and the camera needs to be better, as well as the side quest missions. I haven't shown you all of the side quest missions, but the side quest missions, hopefully I can actually look at missions in the game, or side missions that I haven't completed. Okay, here we go. So, A Dream of Sky, of the Sky, is you literally chasing around a bird, and that took me 8 minutes, by the way, to do. You literally are trying to beat a bird, that's flying around the city. You don't want to do that. I don't want to do that twice. An author's discreet charm is where you're trying to find an author throughout the city, and it's so freaking annoying because he just is so cowardly, and he doesn't want to write a book that if he doesn't write the book, he's going to screw over his publisher, and you have to try and find him in these areas throughout the district, throughout the original districts and the main game, and it's just so annoying to try and find this author, and it's so tedious and time consuming. I have no idea what this mission is. I forgot what that specific mission is. And there are side quest missions like that littered throughout the game that give you no rubies, which, by the way, take an enormous amount of time to collect. They give you no additional story for certain characters that you want to figure out. Like Kat, for example. There are no side quest missions for Kat when it comes to her story, her background personality. You barely know anything about Kat. I'm hoping that that's not necessarily the case, but you know, I'm 18 hours in, or 19 hours probably, and you barely know a damn thing about Kat, where she comes from, how, and this is from the first game. She literally fell out of the sky in the first game, and that's where the game picks up. And there's nothing on Kat. Hopefully that changes, and hopefully that's in this game or the next game, but you know nothing about Kat. Why? But those are just some problems with the game. I would say that if you like anime, you'll like this game. You'll like the hell out of this game because it has a very interesting story, and anime also has very weird and wacky stories that you may or may not enjoy. But the gameplay isn't necessarily something, unless you really like exploration and flying. This game, you'll probably like this game. But the gameplay isn't necessarily anything to, write home about. The story is definitely something that you should like if you like this game. But if you don't come from the story, you probably shouldn't buy this game. This has been 24. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe for more. I'm going to be releasing a reaction video on the Ghost Recon Wildlands game. That is supposed to be released in March, I think March 17th, on my birthday. They have the audacity to release that game on my birthday, and I'm gonna be talking to you about the game and why it's gonna public service announcement. Don't buy Ghost Recon Wildlands until that reaction. I'll see you next time. Have a fantastic